Recording in progress.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Good morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, and we're on text 35.
Yes.
3, 4, 35 of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's Saturday, March 25th. My name is Parampara Das. In person, we have Dear Govinda Prabhu and Mother Malini Prabhu and Damayanti Prabhu, and Bhaktin Kelly is on Zoom, as well as Anandini Mataji Prabhu in Switzerland. So first we will recite the Sanskrit, one part at a time. Atmanam cha Karushrestha
Kurukshetra
Krishnena Manasa Ikshitam Jayan Gate Bhagavate Ruroda Prema Vivala Atmanam Chakarushvesta Krishnena Manasekshitam Jayan Gate Bhagavate Ruroda Prema Vivala Atmanam Chakarushvesta Krishnena Manasekshitam Jayan Gate Bhagavate Ruroda Prema Vivala Atmanam Chakarushvesta Krishnena Manasekshitam Jayan Gate Bhagavate Ruroda Prema Vivala
Atmanam Chakarushvesta Krishnena Manasekshitam Jayam Gate Bhagavate Ruroda Prema Vivala
Atmanam Chakarushvesta
Krishnena Manasekshitam
Jayam Gate Bhagavate Ruroda Prema Vivalaha
Atmanam Chakarushvesta Krishnena Manasekshitam Jayan Gate Bhagavate
Ruroda Prema Vivalaha. Would anyone online like to chant the verse? To lead us in chanting the verse. Atmanam Chakaru Shrestha.
Krishnena Manasekshidam.
Jayan Gate Bhagavate. Guroda Prema Vivalaha. We'll go for the word translation. Atmanam.
Atmanam.
Himself. Cha. Also. Kuru Shrestha.
Kuru Shrestha.
O best among the Kurus.
O best amongst the Kurus.
Krishnena. By Krishna. Manasa. By the mind. Ikshitam. Remembered. Jayan. Thus thinking of. Gate. Having gone. Bhagavate. Of the devotee. Ruroda. Cried loudly. Prema Vivala. Overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. Translation. We're reading Canto 3, Chapter 4. This is text 35. Translation. Understanding that he was remembered by Lord Krishna while quitting this world, Vidura began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Vidura was overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love when he understood that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of him at the last moment. Although he thought of himself as insignificant, he was remembered by the Lord by his causeless mercy. Vidura accepted this as a great favor, and thus he cried. This crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotional service. One who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotional service. Because the next verse does not have a purport, and it's the last verse of the chapter. I will read the next verse also. Kalinja Katibisida Ahobir Bharatar Shabam Prapadyata Svasharitam Yatra Mitra Suto Muni. Translation. After passing a few days on the bank of the river Yamuna, Vidura, the self-realized soul, reached the bank of the Ganges where the great sage Maitreya was situated. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th chapter, 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Vidura Approaches Maitreya. Om Jnanatimimandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Padaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachani Devasi Satsuni Vade Paschatya Satarani. Okay, good morning.
Hare
Krishna. All right, so first I'll ask the question. And it's not a trick question or anything. I'm just wondering, does anyone know of if anywhere else we hear about Lord Krishna remembering Vidura before he leaves his body, or is this where we're hearing from it? Like, how do we know that Lord Krishna was remembering Vidura? If anybody knows that, feel free to.
I have a conjecture.
Okay.
Because I asked that question to myself. Is that Uddhava is speaking about the departure of the Lord, and the last thing he said to Vidura is go to see Maitreya. And I believe that maybe in that, Vidura saw that the Lord was taking care of him because he couldn't hear from Uddhava because he was his junior. And so he kind of created that Maitreya was there. And then Uddhava was able to send Vidura to Uddhava. So in that way, it's like it feels, oh, the Lord remember me because I really want to hear what he had to say. And then he created that situation with Maitreya.
No.
And that's a conjuncture.
Uh-huh.
Because there is nowhere
Right.
it's said exactly, but that's a conjuncture because if you look back at the last verse that Uddhava speaks, that's what Uddhava says, go to Maitreya. And that's when
So the
that's
Vidura.
when like Vidura feels all that. So that's my conjuncture.
Yeah. So like Vidura is seeing like, oh well, the Lord must have arranged this. So he was thinking
He must
of me.
have arranged that for me.
Must have arranged this for me. That Maitreya Rishi was there to hear
And to
from
teach me.
Lord Krishna at the same time that Uddhava was there, so that Maitreya could teach Vidura because it was not appropriate for Uddhava to teach Vidura.
Yeah, and because it goes so long, the dialogue between Maitreya and Uddhava, it seems that it's a possible conjuncture.
Okay, thank you. So, because it's not directly stated, like there's no something in any translation or anything that says that Lord Krishna thought of Vidura, but so Molly's giving this conjecture that it makes sense that Vidura would feel taken care of, perhaps. That Lord Krishna must have thought of me.
Mm-hmm.
So in this, this is the close of this chapter. This chapter is entitled Vidura approaches Maitreya, and but he actually does not approach Maitreya until the last verse of the of the chapter. So it's like
The chapter titles often do that in Bhagavatam.
it's like leading. They're leading.
Yeah, like the last chapter of Canto 1 is called The Appearance of Shukadev Goswami. But it doesn't appear to the last verse or two.
Okay.
The chapter titles do that sometimes.
They're like leading or
Leading,
like a premonition or telling us where we're going. So so this chapter was conversation between Vidura and Uddhava, narrated by Sukadev Goswami to King Parikshit. So I was kind of zooming in and out of those conversations between Uddhava and Vidura and Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadev Goswami. And so now Uddhava has advised Vidura to go and hear from Maitreya Rishi, and Vidura has accepted. And in the previous verse, Sukadev Goswami is narrating, and he shares with, because the last time I gave class, Maharaj Parikshit was asking, well, how come Uddhava's still there? Everyone else has left. Krishna's disappeared. All the associates, all the yadus are gone. So why is all the Lord and all his very confidential personal associates are gone? So why is Uddhava there? Uddhava's one of the most, if not the most, confidential, servant and associate with the Lord. So why is he still there? And so then Sukadev Goswami explains that Uddhava has a mission deputed by Lord Krishna to go and bring a message, Krishna's message, to Badarik Ashram, which I just saw a picture of Badarik Ashram online. I guess it's getting close. In April they open the doors again because during the winter month, it's in the very northern part of India, so in the Himalayas in the hills. So in the winter months they close everything up and they leave, and then it's said, I don't know if it's from Prabhupada, but it's said that during that time Narada Muni comes and performs the deity worship because everything's closed up. And then, so it's coming to the point where spring, and they're going to open the doors again. And so I saw a picture of it. It's still covered in snow whenever I saw it, but they're still safe enough to travel and open, I guess, the doors. So Sukadev Goswami shares with in this in text 32. Sukadev Goswami informed the king that Uddhava had reached that pilgrimage site, Badarika Ashram, and engaged himself there in trance to satisfy the Lord. Badarika Ashram is a place for austerity, especially meant for austerity because it's very austere. It's so austere that they can't even, no one can live there for the winter months. So it's a very, it's a place for austerity. And so Uddhava is going there to give a very personal message. Krishna is non-different than his words or his messages, so it's like he's bringing Krishna there personally, and also Krishna is present there in Badarika Ashram in the forms of Narayan Rishi, the deities there. So it's kind of one of those, because Krishna wants, so Krishna wants to give his association there to Narayan Rishi, but he's leaving the planet, so he sends Uddhava to send a message, which is just as good as him going personally. But Lord Krishna is already residing there in the form of Narayan Rishi, so that's one of the fun things to meditate on and just consider how that it's mysterious. That's what I want to talk about, actually, like mystery a little bit, because this was a mystery to me. Perhaps Mother Malini solved it, this mystery of, but she says it's conjecture, and we don't know for sure. And so, still, there. We'll talk about what mystery is, and so it still is a mystery. It still is mysterious and a mystery. Perhaps Mother Malini's. I like what she shared, her conjecture, and so. It's like wrapping up this chapter. Vidura did hear from Uddhava about the appearance and disappearance of Lord Krishna, the super soul in the mortal world. So it's not that he didn't receive transcendental instruction from Uddhava. At the same time, for like a more formal discourse and instruction of Krishna's teachings that he gave the Uddhava Gita before he left his pastimes on earth, then it's best for Vidura to go hear from Maitreya Rishi. So, so in this purport, Prabhupada is speaking about, sharing about how Vidura was overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love, and he was crying. He's crying loudly, overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. And this crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotional service. So last word means that it's very advanced. It's the most advanced. Because that's prema in the translation, prema vivala, overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. So prema is like the highest state of devotional love, and so he's crying for the Lord in that mood, and so So it's like so far advanced, but still we can at least. Look at ourselves and what we cry for, the things that we cry for, and then using empathy to put ourselves in Vidura's shoes and imagine, what was happening for him, what was that feeling that he was feeling where he was crying so loudly, and not to do it in an artificial way or that's sahajya kind of way, but at least what am I crying about? I've cried for so many things in my life, and especially as a child, I could imagine things I cried about, or a teenager, things I cried about, and everyone here has been in a Sattva seminar. There's crying happens in the Sattva seminars. So many things that we cry about. And again, and actually I was reading a little. So I want to talk about mystery, mysticism, and things like that a little bit at least. And Christian mysticism, mysteries, meditating on the mysteries of Christianity. Catharsis is like a stage of in the process catharsis. So, but that's like it's like a more preliminary stage. So this isn't catharsis, what in that kind of way. In that kind of way, it's not like some initial catharsis. Kind of clearing, pulling the weeds, whatever, toxic emotion, it's the opposite of that. It's like the real spiritual crying. And so I'll just read something for Srila Prabhupada because I don't have much to say about prema, crying in the mood of prema. Okay, so this is from a lecture by Srila Prabhupada in Bombay, December 28th, 1972. It's a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.10. And in that class, Prabhupada says, and in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says, not by yoga system, but by jnana system, not by karma system, but bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyaschasmi tatvata. This tatvata means the tattva jnana, bhaktya. And what kind of bhakti? Not that simply I sit down and cry a little. I practice how to cry, sentiment. No. Shruta, so practice how to cry. So that can be, personal growth, maybe transformation. It's like, oh, I'm crying, this is good. I felt like that before. That like, oh, this is good. I'm so disconnected from my body, emotions, whatever. Oh, I'm crying, this is good. I'm feeling something. But that's a very initial, for it's beneficial catharsis. But yeah, just practicing how to cry. That's not what we're talking about. And even Prabhupada, not in this lecture, but another class, he's speaking about like professional reciters of the Bhagavatam, and they can make themselves cry while they're reading or like reciting these things, and then they say, oh my, so such a show, and then afterwards, oh, now my throat's dry. I need to go get a beedi or smoke something, smoke a cigarette or something like that. So, no, not that I cry a little. I practice how to cry. Sentiment, no. Shruta grihitaya, understanding about the absolute truth from the Vedic knowledge. Then bhakti, that is real bhakti. Sentiment is not bhakti. I stand and I little practice how to cry. Oh, this man cries always. No. Of course, crying is there, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to cry. But that stage is very, very high. It is not possible. You are crying, but the next moment you are engaged in ordinary things. That crying is artificial. One who can cry for Krishna, he becomes mad, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govinda virahena me. Sunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda varahena me. Shishastika 7. He says, crying, everything is over now. I cannot see Krishna. So that crying is different crying. Now in the meeting, not that in the meeting I cry, and the next moment I am now dry. I want this, I want that. But not that crying. Chakshusha Pavrisayitam Sunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena. Chaitanya Chakshusha Pravrijayatam. Just like torrents of rain falls from the sky. So Govinda Virahena, on account of separation from Govinda, Chakshusha, so he's talking about Sri Sri Shikshastakam, Lord Chaitanya is crying, just like torrents of rain, feeling separation from Govinda. So that's the kind of crying that Prabhupada is speaking about here. Is very advanced. So he says that's not possible. Or that's not possible. It's not possible, at least, to be crying, sentimental crying, and then that for that to be devotional. And so, in another class, Prabhupada speaking about that's this like raga bhakti. Raga bhakti, it's spontaneous love, and so sadhana bhakti comes before raga bhakti. So. This crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotional service. One who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotional service. So maybe it's artificial to try to imitate, or to try to demonstrate that sort of crying. Still, at the same time, we can look at these personalities. They're crying for, and it's not. It's not crying because something happened to me and now I'm crying to the Lord, and that's also a distinction. It's like, it's not that I'm in such much suffering and now I'm going to cry out for the Lord. It's crying because of separation from the Lord. It's crying in love, for the Lord in love. So still, it's like purifying to hear about these personalities and in their devotional love, and to at least look at ourselves and like, what am I crying for? what am I crying for? And to meditate on these personalities and their pastimes, and to develop the desire to approach these sort of devotional feelings, which means that we as given by Srila Prabhupada, then we focus on sadhana bhakti. So sadhana bhakti is like the sadhana bhakti, following the 4 regulative principles, chanting a minimum of 16 rounds or whatever our vow may be, and being endeavoring to qualify ourselves so that Srila Prabhupada can give us his mercy to support us along the path. So also I wanted to share about, so whenever I read this, it was a mystery to me about Vidura. I still think it's a mystery, and we'll talk about that. How does Vidura know? How does Vidura know that Krishna thought of him? And so this is like engaging in the mysteries. I sent a message to Mother Malini yesterday, and I was like, "Where is it? How does he know? Where does he come from?" And you said you had a conjecture. You didn't share your conjecture at that time. You said, "Well, I have a conjecture, but yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't say explicitly." And then and so I was wondering myself. Okay, I was sitting with that, and then now I've heard Mother Molly share her conjecture, and I'm like, "Ooh, wow, I really like that." And then let's churn that more, And so it's like going into the mystery, entering into the mystery. So we're speaking in English, and Prabhupada's giving these books in English. The source is Sanskrit. And so some things are lost in translation, or it's kind of crude to translate these, very elevated spiritual concepts into like crude modern day English. And so I think it's a reason Srila Prabhupada does this, and I think it's helpful for us to consider that the religious or spiritual tradition that is tied to English is Christianity. So putting things into Christian terms, which Srila Prabhupada does, and that it can be helpful for us because that's how these spiritual principles and ideas of Christianity which bhakti is there. That's how they were disseminated, and they were. Well, at least that's how they get to us. Not that how they were disseminated, but at least that's how they get to us. And there's a long history, with English and Christianity. So, if we look at how English was used with Christianity, especially long time ago, then it can help us to. I'm speculating a little bit, but I'm sure Prabhupada does that. So, that's my understanding is like it's a bridge for us to like understand these spiritual concepts. So I was looking at like mystery and mysticism, and like the same root word there, and so the mystery and its cousin mystic both trace back to Latin and Greek words mysterium and mysteria for secrets, especially religious rites performed by secret orders. The Greek root means to close or to shut, so that these are especially secret orders sounds very interesting. Religious rites performed by secret orders, but still it's the word like mystery and mystic, that's more closely to like what we consider like sacred, secret, sacred. It has ties there, but there's like a common usage of mystery that's relatively new, relatively recent in English, at least in the 1900s, of mysteries like something that you solve, something that's solved. It's like so it's even like detective stories. That's relatively new. Like even it's a little bit of English history or teaching. So like even to like originally they were called detective stories, even in like the early 1900s, and then somehow along the 1900s it became like mystery. Mystery became a genre like related to detective stories where there's something that needs to be figured out. So now there's all these. So people think a mystery is something that you solve. That's a colloquial term, but that's not what these mysteries are meant to be. Especially because mysteries have sacred, secret, religious connotation. So that's one way that mystery is kind of used nowadays. Is like there's it's something that's hard. Maybe it seems impossible to figure out, but there is some explanation, and we can figure it out, and we can solve the mystery, and that's it. And then there's another kind of common colloquial use of mystery that can affect our consciousness. Language reflects consciousness. Language can affect consciousness. So there's another kind of common usage of mystery that is something that's really hard to understand, maybe impossible to understand. Maybe there is no explanation. So then it's not even worth the time. It's not even worth the time to think about or really to consider. It's kind of dismissive. Like, it's a mystery. Shrug. Mm-hmm. Oh, why did that happen? Oh, it's a mystery. And just, so don't worry, don't try to think about it. It's not worth your time to even consider or put your consciousness there. So those kind of two ends of the spectrum there are like common ways of seeing mystery. So either like both are closed in it, or kind of dismissive. So one is you just think about the mystery, solve the mystery, use your mental faculties, whatever it is, figure the mystery out. And the other one is like, well, it's mysterious. We don't know. Don't even worry about it. Just don't think about it. Dismiss it. But that's not the so in Christianity there's the you meditate on mysteries. That's like part of Catholicism, the Rosary, meditating on mysteries, and so there's different mysteries. We won't go into all that, but that's like a big concept, meditating on mysteries, and that's what Mother Malini and I were exchanging yesterday and speaking about. Okay, so like this mystery of like how did Vidura know, or what did he where did he get that indication that Lord Krishna was thinking about him? Like, that's a worthwhile mystery to put our mind to and put our intelligence to, and our meditation to. Like, if we meditate on that for the rest of our lives, like, it's perfect. There's like it's perfect meditation to be. That's the purpose of human life, to put our consciousness into meditating on use our engage ourselves in that kind of meditation on these pure personalities and their pastimes and what was happening for them and what was that about, and engaging our intelligence that way. And so that's like the more original or proper use of mystery is something, especially like in Christian mysticism or Christianity, mystery is something that cannot be explained. It cannot be known. So it's like that one side of like, okay, it cannot be known. But instead of dismissing it, it's like, no, it cannot be known by material means. So there's no material way to solve this puzzle or to know, to explain this. But there is a spiritual way. There's a spiritual process to unlock the mystery, so that's like the proper function of mystery. So that's what so in this mystery that we're considering here with Vidura. So then Mother Malini gives this clue to unlock the mystery. Oh well, perhaps Vidura. Well, because he's going to see Maitreya Rishi, and because Uddhava has advised him to go see Maitreya Rishi, and Uddhava's not available because he's got a mission to go perform, and it's not appropriate for him to teach him. So Uddhava's not available for instruction, but Maitreya is, and so it was very good fortune that Maitreya was there, hearing from Krishna, and that he can impart the message to Vidura. So then Mother Malini shares that, and then I'm kind of churning and thinking more like, oh well, yeah. So that's the way a pure devotee thinks, right? The pure devotee thinks that if something's in my favor, if something's happening in my favor, then this is Lord Krishna's doing. Lord Krishna arranged this for me. So I don't know that that's right. I don't think it's not solved. Don't know that that's the answer. But it's like to be in that meditation, to be in that mystery. It's purifying to be considering. So yeah. So in that, so we can try to imagine Vidura so crying so loudly because Krishna arranged this for me. He arranged this for me that he spoke this message to Maitreya Rishi so I can hear. So he was, even though he thought himself insignificant, he was remembered by the Lord by his causeless mercy. Vidura accepted this as a great favor, and thus he cried. So that's the mood of a pure devotee. Anything that's happening for me, beneficial, it's like I'm not worthy, I'm insignificant, but still somehow the Lord by his causeless mercy is giving me this favor, and then he's crying in ecstasy of love, of being favored in that way. So that's the pure devotee. Hare Krishna. That's all I will share about that. That's all I have to say about that. And read the two verses again. Atmanam chakaru shrista krishnena manakshekchidam dayam gate bhagavate ruroda prema vivala. Understanding that he was remembered by Lord Krishna while quitting this world, Vidura began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. In text 36, Kalinja Katibi Sida Ahobir Bharatar Shabam Rapajata Sva Saritam Etra Mitra Suto Muni. After passing a few days on the bank of the river Yamuna, Vidura, the self-realized soul, reached the bank of the Ganges where the great sage Maitreya was situated. So stay tuned. Next time, we're going into chapter 5. Vidura's talks with Maitreya. So Vidura has reached Maitreya. I look forward to that. After traveling a few days, so he had this conversation with Uddhava. I think it just lasted one night. And there's a few more days up the bank of the river to meet Maitreya Rishi. Hare Krishna. I welcome you. Have any, anyone has any comments or questions or would like to share anything at this time? Devin said, Happy Ramanuja Acharya Appearance Day. I don't know if that's, I'll accept that. I don't.
Well, I'm also going to say something.
You're also going to say something.
I guess I just feel impressed by your speaking. Like I see your growth, and you sound impressive, knowledgeable about these subjects and topics, which I still feel very foreign to me. You mentioned seeing a picture of something earlier in the beginning of your class. And I just thought, yeah, because you're really absorbed and involved in these matters, that you're taking them seriously, that you're giving us the prelude and then what to look forward to next time. I just appreciating your mood of your mood and your seriousness around. Not that I guess you're like cold or serious or something, but just your absorption in these most important spiritual matters. I'm just appreciating.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I think we can appreciate Srila Prabhupada's program that he arranged so that people like me, who are very unqualified, would get a chance to give classes and things like that. Because why would I be giving a class? Doesn't make any sense. But Srila Prabhupada knows, by engaging in the process, then it's purifying and it's a chance to qualify. And naturally, we elevate ourselves. Because if I wasn't giving this class, I wasn't giving classes, I wouldn't know about Badarik Ashram and how they leave. They leave during the winter, or that's what I mentioned earlier. Badarik Ashram is the picture that I saw. So I wouldn't know about that if I didn't give a class on a verse and then look up things and do research. So like giving classes, which I know Devin has some intention to give a class in April. His birthday's in April, so he's going to give a class in April, I think. So yeah, I encourage that. By we stretch ourselves by giving classes, and then if I know for me, it forces me to be engaged and to be doing research. And so yeah, it's Srila Prabhupada's program that everyone's supposed to be a preacher and teacher and philosophical too. It's like not just like the rabbis or the priests or the nuns. That everyone, and I know, so that hopefully, dear Govinda, you shared about this, that hopefully that was helpful for you in your process whenever you were a Bhakta, when you were Bhakta Dev, or not even before you were Bhakta Dev, is like that anyone can go to one of Srila Prabhupada's centers or one of Srila Prabhupada's programs, and anyone there can explain the philosophy to them and preach to them, that even people have been there for a few months, few weeks, whatever, that they can share this philosophy with others. So that's what Prabhupada gives it to us in that way, and he expects us to be in that mood and to be capable. And so, yeah, it's very fortunate. That's like, I went to church my whole life, and there was one person giving every sermon, and there was a youth pastor, and they gave some sermons. And so it's very fortunate that very unique, and also the questions and answers. Obviously, Srila Prabhupada's program to have time for questions and answers
Because he's equipped for it.
and discussion.
Because he's equipped for it.
Because he's equipped for it, and
Yeah.
and then
in Christian churches, no
Yeah.
stress because they are not.
no
equipped.
questions, no questions. So yeah, there's no questions. Top down, and we don't want to Well, I mean, there's Bible study groups. Don't want to diminish things. Bible study groups. My mother leads Bible study groups, and there's discussion, and then even there's other parts besides the Sunday sermon. But Sunday sermon is very much like top down, just no questions. So, thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Our glories to Srila Prabhupada that he had this program that we engage in a philosophical discussion. And because if I was just sitting and listening to preacher, I definitely, obviously, would not be able to talk about or give a class on anything because I would never do it. I'd just be waiting to hear from the priest. Hare Krishna. Mother Malini.
Hare Krishna. I really love what you did with the mystery and like different aspects of it and how people approach mystery, something to solve. I need to know. I know I don't know. Like skills and need. Just like it's a mystery. So who cares?
Yeah.
Put your mind there. But in spiritual life, mystery is kind of an opportunity for us to get more absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a mercy from Guru and Krishna that it's so difficult to absorb the mind or to engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. And I appreciate that you pointed that out, that if we were to just think of all those mysteries, mysteries of creation, mystery of suffering, and constantly, in fact, we can be in those questions and in the mystery at that Brahma Vigyasa, meaning like it's not like I look at that verse or that sutra not as something, now is the time to inquire, and then there is the rest, like you're a devotee, and then 30 or 40 years and you don't inquire anymore. It's almost spiritual life can be described as constant inquiry into the mystery.
Yes.
And then if we can live that to be constantly in the question, constantly in the mystery of Krishna, because we never know Krishna. And he manifests, if we want to know, we serve him and he can reveal himself to us if he wants to. But that leaves us in mystery. And that mystery, I think, is a mystery of spiritual life. Yeah, so I appreciated you bring that out. And also, I made a conjuncture and you extended it into, I think, time when we can cry maybe with tears or without tears, but be moved by Krishna's benevolence, is those moments when we realize, oh God, Krishna arranged all that for me. And like that, those moments, even in our life, that's those moments where we can become really so emotional and feel those tears of joy for oh wow, it's amazing what Krishna arranged. Like I'm going that direction, my planning committee is going there, and all of a sudden something else happened. That's a mystery, how it's happened. And in that mystery, it's like, oh God, it's like, you're so caring. You know my desire more than me. Like that. And so I appreciate how we put it together.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I can I think there's so many things, mysteries that I put my mind to. I can think of a mystery. I'm trying to solve a mystery, financial. Where's this money coming from, and where's the money? And it's with different things, and it's like how many hours I put my mind towards like, well, why is this money? Where's this money? Trying to solve this mystery, and then
the last 2 days we were in a whole
that was a mystery.
Internet technology mystery.
There was so I'm kind of getting absorbed and like just all consumed with so many kind of mysteries, trying to solve it and figure it out. And then that's an experience of life, and that's a certain experience of life that you can imagine. It's like frustrating and downward spiral and
solving the camera mystery.
solving the camera. It's not solving, and then so to be in this mystery, this last 12 hours or 15 hours or whatever. That so I mentioned Mother Malini and then she shared and then just shared now. It's a much different experience of being in a mystery. Being absorbed in a mystery. I feel very purified and touched and to imagine Vidura, because there's two aspects that I want to speak about. Crying for Lord Krishna, to crying in love for Krishna, and then how does Vidura know this? So those are the two things we want to talk about, and then it's like by going into this question and considering and meditating on it, then it's like what Mother Malini just shared about to experience those moments of gratitude. It's really gratitude, it's an aspect of it, at least gratitude of what Krishna has arranged, and then feeling so touched that, wow, it's for me. You did this for me. Wow, that's amazing. That's because there's one thing to recognize that Krishna's the source of everything. Krishna's arrangement, that whatever is happening for me in life is beneficial or not, but that if it's beneficial, that this is Krishna's arrangement. It's one thing to recognize that, and then to it's personalism. So there's a personal relationship. So Vidura feels personally favored and remembered by the Lord, and even though he's insignificant. So that's like another level. It's not just like it's not impersonal. It's not impersonal that just like, well, the universe or the this way Vidura is seeing it. It's not that the universe has conspired to make this happen, or it's not that it's my karma that played out, or I must have some good karma, something that I did that I'm getting some good result. It's like, no, this is Krishna thought of me. Krishna thought of me and somehow remembered me by his causeless mercy. So, yes. So we can have moments like that. We can have moments like that to allow ourselves to feel that those feelings, first to see Krishna's hand in everything, Krishna's arrangement, and then to be grateful and feel the personal connection. Hare Krishna. Dear Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, so Krishna says to Arjuna, Sevayam maya tedya yoga bhokta pratana bhaktosi me sacheti rasyameta uttamam. So the word rahasyam is Prabhupada translates as mystery. So Krishna says that. So that's the transcendental knowledge chapter. Krishna talks about the Parampara. And he says, in the course of time, the chain of knowledge was broken. And he said, I'm speaking it to you, Arjuna, bhaktosi niskacheti, because you're a bhakta, because you're a devotee. Therefore, you are able to understand the transcendental mystery. You're able to understand the mystery of this transcendental science. So it's mystery, and I appreciated the very related definitions you gave. And so bhakti to Krishna, that's the key. So Krishna says that because Arjuna wasn't especially known as a Vedic scholar or this or that. But I'm speaking to you because you're able to understand the rahasyam yetadutama, the transcendental mystery of this spiritual science, because you're a bhakta. And then, the term mystery appears again in the very last verse of Bhagavad Gita, 18.70. Yacha yogeshvara Krishno yacha parta dinordara chacha shir vijaya bhutir juvanitya matir mama. So Sanjaya describes, he says, wherever there's Krishna, the supreme mystic, and wherever there's Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will certainly be extraordinary power, opulence, victory, and morality. That is my opinion.
Is the supreme mystic Yogeshwar, or how is it?
Yogeshwar is a name for Krishna. That means the supreme mystic. You could say it is the supreme yogi, so that we can see that. So mystery is like, that as I like how you said, that which is beyond the purview of the material mind, senses, and intellect. And so Krishna is connected. Krishna is connected on all dimensions. So that supreme mystic, there's nothing unknown to Krishna. He knows past, present, future. He knows all space and time. Of course, his knowledge is, Krishna is the ultimate in being in that spirit of discovery. So his knowledge is always expanding. But meaning because Krishna he's Vasudev, he's the all-pervading person in the heart of all living entities in every atom. So he's completely cognizant. So he's the supreme mystic because in a sense nothing's mysterious to him.
It's the same root.
What's that?
It's the same root, mystic and mysterious.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
I said that in my class.
Yeah. Yes,
But it was
it's about mystic Christian.
Yeah, Greek origins. So even pre-Christian actually, but.
I see there's a chat.
And okay, and you said was it Rahasya?
Rahasyam yetadutamam, the third verse of the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Rahasya is translated as mystery.
Rahasyam. Yeah.
Rahasyam.
And uttamam, tama is ignorance. And uttama is like ultimate, means above ignorance, transcendental to ignorance.
Thank you. Yeah. So this the key to unlock the mystery is bhakti.
To be in the line of Arjuna.
Be in the line of Arjuna. Bhakti. Okay. Anandini says, Lord Chaitanya came because Krishna remembered us after leaving the planet. So yeah, that's that's the line of thinking there. Yeah. So wow, Krishna was thinking of us. Krishna remembered us after he left the planet. And that's why he sent. That's why he came. As Lord Chaitanya. That's the mood. Hare Krishna. Anything else anyone like to share or comment?
I'll just add something while I was listening to the different approaches. So, I don't know if everyone heard me, but when I was listening to your class and just meditating on everyone sharing, I was thinking about approaching mystery in the different modes. Like the mode of ignorance is like, oh, that's the one where you say, oh, that's just a mystery. Like, don't even put your mind on it. That's like the mode of ignorance. And the mode of passion is that I want to solve it.
Right. Yeah.
and then I actually don't know the difference between mystery and the mode of goodness.
Yeah.
Versus mystery in like the transcendental realm. So I was wondering what mystery and the mode of goodness would look like if you're approaching mystery and like, oh, maybe I'll solve it, maybe I won't. I'll put a little energy, maybe like not over endeavoring, but not completely ignoring it. Some sort of balance between those two. Anyway, that's what I was thinking, like mystery and then modes.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, okay.
Just a thought.
How we can approach mystery in the modes of material nature, and then what's transcendental. Seems like transcendental mystery is like bhakti, to approach it with bhakti. to approach it with bhakti, and then
Also,
yeah.
I was thinking about how I was thinking about humility, like how humility can be cultivated by like maybe I don't feel humble, but if I give myself to an experiment of meditating on the mysteries of Krishna, then it like puts me back into my position and helps me cultivate humility.
I'm thinking that, when Krishna, in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives the list of like 19 qualities that are the foundation of being in a process of expanding knowledge. The first one is humility. I mean, to take that which is mystery and to realize more and more. So the foundational quality is humility. Otherwise, we're stuck with my material intelligence. I got this, like that.
Yeah.
And of course, that's philosophical. Like yes, no, not arguing, but on the same, like I'm experiencing myself as thinking I know, trying to know, and just like obsessed with knowing, like situational things. It doesn't even have to be anything mystical or esoteric. Nothing about it. Just it could be that too, but like there's such a strong focus on me knowing, and it's like a conditioning, and I'm getting from this class that this is how I'm experiencing this class. Like, okay, despite me thinking I know or trying really hard to know things, and it might not even have anything to do with Krishna, but I have that conditioning. Despite that, I came to the class and I actually like Bhakti Yoga, and I want to expand beyond that. So I feel encouraged to like read from Prabhupada from this class, like let me absorb myself in these things and try on humility and not knowing, just because that would be good for just a simple personal growth, like exercise. So I do feel stuck, knowing, trying to know, thinking I know, and then I have no taste for reading when I'm in that consciousness. But then when I come around the association of devotees, then I feel like more inspired to break out, and I think, reading would help me with one area of my life, like in a practical sense. And it would be it could be supportive for my Krishna consciousness. So that's what I'm getting from the class.
Nice.
Thanks.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I'm inspired by that mood of like, not trying, different to let go or give up some of that wanting to know or needing to know, and just being okay with like with not knowing, and that's it's like an interesting dichotomy, because in one sense it's like it's impossible to know, or like it's kind of easy to say, oh well, materially you can't understand, but spiritually you can understand. It's kind of like, maybe this can be like cliche. It's truth. It's true. It's absolute truth. It's like, oh well, materially you can't understand, but spiritually you can understand. But we maybe kind of just say it a lot, or it can become cliche, at least for me. Like, oh yeah. But what does that really mean? So applying that is like in an everyday situation, everyday life. That's a different story than just kind of saying, oh yeah, that's true. Materially unknowable, spiritually, but you can understand. And like, so where to draw the line in situations, and so that's what I'm thinking about whenever you're sharing, is like, with reading, with studying the philosophy, or just being around devotees. It's like where to if I find myself struggling, like where to draw the line of like, okay, this is something that I really need to put my consciousness and my energy in, and like get clear about, and like this is an important distinction to make, and I need to argue this, or I need to take a stand, or is it like, this is not the best use of my time. Anyway, that's a little personal example, but thank you for sharing. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your attention on this Saturday morning. And others, Harinam Sankirtan in Legacy? Or where is it? Would you like to make an announcement?
Thornbrook Village.
Thornbrook Village?
At 11, there is, what is it?
An art festival?
Art Festival at Thornbrook Village, 11 a.m. in Gainesville, Florida. Harinam Sankirtan. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.